Hey, good morning, everyone. This is day 3 over here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me see what this is going on here. Translation none. Okay. At NAB. This is day 3. This is Tuesday. I'm going to be editing some of the live interviews that I did yesterday, and I'm going to show you a couple of clips from those. And then I'm going to be headed back to the convention center for a couple more interviews before I head back to the East Coast tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'll be heading back. So far, there's been some interesting, black magic, of course, as they usually do. It came out with a beta 18.5, which has a lot of features, and even Premiere has the text-based video editing that came out. So, let me see, where are my comments? There we go. Have you heard from Apple yet? I'm not sure. I wasn't expecting to hear from Apple, but I haven't. No, I have not. Can I ask if there are any Apple people at NAB? Do you think Apple will announce anything during or shortly after NAB? And I don't have high confidence that that is going to happen. I'm sure, I've seen a couple of Apple people. I didn't get a chance to talk to them extensively, but some Apple people were here, and I saw 2 former Apple Final Cut Pro team members that were here, which of course they can't say anything either. But so no, I don't expect there to be any announcement. Why would Apple, if they didn't make any announcement before NAB or at NAB, I don't think they'd make it, right after NAB. That wouldn't make any sense. We'll have to see what happens. The only thing that makes sense to me is if a big version is underway, maybe a complete rewrite of Final Cut Pro, and they're just saying, well, we're not going to spend any more time on the current version, not too much time, because we're working on this brand new version. We'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, my expectations are still fairly low, which they have been for years. They're not, they haven't disappeared, but they're way down here, and they used to be way up here. So they haven't changed at this point. I'm always hopeful things will happen, but it would make more sense. For example, they're saying, okay, Final Cut Pro 10, we're not going to spend development time and resources on that anymore. What we're going to do is we got a brand new version coming out. This is just speculation, of course. This is not anything else. And that would make sense as to why the development has come to almost to a halt the last couple years. Why there's been no announcements from Final Cut team going forward. But, we will have to wait and see. Let me see what this comment says. There's a Sony Walkman moment when Apple announced the iPod. Sony died. I feel that Resolve has done so many features that now almost impossible for you to say I should stick with Final Cut Pro Sony. Well, I'm not going to, whatever you want to do is fine. I mean, you can go to Resolve. Anybody, you can go to more than one NLE. If you already own Final Cut, you certainly can go to either the free version of Resolve, or in my case, I have the studio version. But at this point, I'm not going to worry about it too much. My expectations are not that high for Final Cut, but that could be changed. That could be changed if they are indeed working on a brand new version. They never have announced a major version of Final Cut at WWDC, but that doesn't mean they won't this year. I mean, they could right alongside of the good old Mac Pro, whenever that's going to come out. The thing holding me back from using Resolve more often is the bloat. Right-clicking on a menu, item results in a used list of options, too many to concern myself with. Yeah, I understand that. I'm not sure if it's bloat, it's just a lot of options. I like having options myself. And once you learn any software, especially the more sophisticated software, then you learn where things are, and it doesn't seem so overwhelming. At least that's been my experience, right? So I did 3 interviews yesterday. I have one more to do today. I have one more to do with Roger Bolton. Let me pull this up. Final Cut Pro at NAB. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. These are our sponsors for the trip over at NAB. Digital Anarchy, we interviewed them yesterday. LumaFusion, Audio Design Desk, and CoreMelt. So I've interviewed all of them except for CoreMelt. I'm going to try to get to Roger CoreMelt today and do an interview with him. I want to thank all these sponsors. They sponsored the trip out here to NAB. It has been certainly been appreciated. So, yeah, what the coverage at NAB, I mean, NAB has its own coverage, right? They have their own coverage, the live coverage. If you want extensive coverage, I recommend going to nab.com, and they have live coverage of everything, interviewing stuff. So I really, that's, if you want to cover everything, that's where you go. Obviously, I can't. I'm just a single person. I don't have a team of people. I'm just a single person. So I got a few more interviews I intend to do today. Eric says, did you hit the Rode booth? Not yet, but I did see some of the Rode products. They have the charging case, right, for the Rode Wireless Go-Tos. That's what I've said. I thought it was just a mock-up, but apparently that's a real thing. But I am interested in this new Saramonic wireless system. I have to see how that plays out. That uses a different frequency spectrum than the Rode Wireless Go, and the DJI uses a more professional system. And it has a lot of other options. It can take, line level input and stuff. So I'll be interested in seeing what that is going forward. But the thing is that the Rode Wireless Go, they still haven't changed the form factor. It's still the kind of 3-year-old form factor, the big clunky form factor. And when you put it, the screen's on top, so when you have it on DSLR, you have to look over top to see what's going on, rather than on the edge like the DJI, which I prefer, because then you can just see it. But anyway, I do expect a Rode Wireless Go 3 at some point, and we'll see what happens. And I like microphones, so let's watch one of the. I'm working on putting these full version of these interviews out this morning before I head to the convention center. But I pulled a few clips just for you. Let's watch a couple of those. Let me see what I've got here. This is the first one. This is Audio Design Desk. This is just a little clip of the full interview.
So here we are, NAB 2023. Audio Design Desk has a 2.0 version coming out?
Yes, so we are proud to show that we have some new features implemented for our 2.0, which will be released very soon. And we have a couple of new features I'll be more than happy to show that we didn't have last year.
Like?
So one of the last things that was a very high demand thing was we had an extension for Final Cut Pro, but now we have more extensions for Premiere and for DaVinci Resolve. We also have some more AI technology that helps isolate certain sounds. So if you actually want to isolate the sound effects away from a movie trailer and want to keep the dialogue, we have that technology as well, so you can practice doing your own sound design to dialogue from a major motion picture.
So that was just a little clip from Audio Design Desk. I'm going to put the full video out here shortly, and that will be available. And I also did LumaFusion, which was a lot of fun. Terry and Chris, of course. And I also interviewed Jim Tierney from Digital Anarchy. These are all sponsors of my trip to Las Vegas this year. Plus, everybody, you people, have contributed to buymeacoffee.com. Where is that? Buymeacoffee.com. You've paid for my breakfast I had the other day, and you paid for different meals that I've had. And I sure do appreciate that as well. So I want you to know that I am spending your money. I am spending your money. So I had this morning when I woke up, I guess the weather is very dry compared to what I'm used to in Las Vegas, and my eyes were very, very red, which is highly unusual for me. So I ended up putting I brought some eye drops with me that I got from my eye doctor, a sample bottle that I never used. So I brought those with me and I applied them, and it just like almost instantly cleared up the red eye-ness. So let me see. Not a comment. Apple's ads website has subscription pricing only. No, they have. You can buy it outright. I'm kind of surprised if that's the case. No, they have subscription, and they have. Well, I'm pretty sure they still have it. And when I was talking to them yesterday, that's what I have. I have the version that you don't have to pay subscription for. I don't think they're going subscription only. They didn't tell me that, but I think I think it's available. Maybe I have to hunt for it or something. I'm not sure. But I really like Audio Design Desk. I like all my sponsors, but Audio Design Desk, since we're talking about them, besides all the other features that you can use musical loops and create your own music, they have 75,000 Foley effects that are included in the app that you can use royalty-free. You won't get a strike on YouTube for using them and things. So, and they have other musical beds. If you want something that's like music that's moody, you can type in moody and pull it down and try different things out. But it's a very sophisticated application, and 2.0 just came out. It'll be no charge for the update for current users or current subscribers, either one. And then we have today, LumaFusion has announced, well, first off, LumaFusion's on sale starting today. It's from usually $29, it's $19 starting today. And they just announced Multicam. They have a Multicam add-on app that you can purchase if you want to. Let's go over there and watch their video. Once again, this is just a short clip. This is just a short little clip that let me put that up. I don't want to put that on. This is just a short little clip of the full interview. The full interview is going up today, but this is just a short little clip.
Because the way it exists now is fantastic. So you're just continuing this with the multicam.
Right.
Now this has been in development for like a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as an app inside an app because
Okay.
multicam editing in LumaFusion is so different than just your regular editing.
Right.
But it does create a clip on your normal timeline that you can edit with normally.
Right.
But it's just that the whole process of it, of syncing up your clips, of mapping your audio during the synchronization process, of switching. We wanted the switching to be like you could set everything up in your synchronizing stage. Right. And then when you're switching, you're just totally having fun.
Totally having fun. That's the key to video editing. So yeah, not much Final Cut Pro stuff happening here at NAB. I did stop at Hedge for a little while yesterday, but I didn't get really a chance to talk to anybody, not extensively. So I'm going to stop a couple different places around today and do a couple more interviews. Hopefully I get to interview Roger Bolton. There's our friend Jacob Rush. Saw him yesterday at the Media Motion Ball. We had a good time there. I got some video of that too. That was more of a formal sit-down dinner yesterday, and they had their presenters and they gave away prizes and stuff. So that I saw Greg and Philip. Serena was not there. She wasn't feeling well, so she didn't make it. And my friend Jeffrey Orthwine was there, and a couple of other Final Cut pros. Jeff. We all sat at the same table, and we had dinner and watched some of the presentation. And I left about 9 o'clock because I had to get back here. And I got up at 4 this morning, started editing these videos. It's not a whole lot of editing, but I just want to make them, a little bit better than just doing the live video. I wanted to just touch them up since I had the opportunity. Just watch another.
Who are you waiting on? Who are you waiting on, man?
Are you live right now?
No, I'm just recording.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like, subscribe, and do that whole thing.
It's going to be live.
Okay.
I'm going to do it live.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
How are you doing these days?
Doing well.
Yeah?
Doing well.
So if you recognize him, that's Dylan, Final Cut Bro. Ran into him yesterday as well. We have another comment from Eric. Eric says, okay, I see the perpetual ad license now. Yeah, they please don't go subscription only. But even if you go subscription only, I have subscriptions. The main thing is if you stop paying the subscription fee at the end of a year, say, don't disable the app. Let the person keep using the version that they paid for. Don't disable the app the way Adobe does. Because with Adobe, you have to pay for the rest of your life. If you want to use their app, you have to pay for the rest of your life. Like for example, I have a couple of different subscriptions or yearly maintenance fees, and the one that I'm using, Video Enhance AI. So I have the updates are available for a year. At the end of the year, if I don't pay up the fee, I don't get the new updates. But the version that I have still works. The version that I have still works. I just don't get the new features, and I don't get the bug fixes that come after that point. Not like Adobe that completely cuts you off. You can't use any of their products, anything. You have to pay for the rest of your life. You can never stop paying if you want to use the Adobe products. That's what I don't like. Let me use the version that I've already paid for. Let me decide when I want to update. But I have subscriptions. I do indeed. So what else? We have one more video we're going to show this morning. Here we
And that's going to be Apple Silicon native, I presume?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it now? Beauty Box Apple Silicon native?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
All of our products are silicon native, metal, all the things. So, yeah, I mean, when we develop a product, we develop for Apple and Adobe concurrently. And so when when we release any 1.0, it's always going to be for After Effects, Premiere, and Final Cut at the same time.
Okay.
And then we do Resolve and Avid a little bit later.
Okay.
But as a consequence, it's always going to be CUDA and Metal Native from the get-go, and Silicon Native and all that stuff.
Now, let's go in the opposite direction. What about Intel? Do you support Intel?
Oh yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, so we still support like OpenCL and CUDA and like all the older machines that have the NVIDIA and AMD cards.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. There's still a lot of people out there using Intel. Not everybody's shifted to Silicon.
Not everybody has shifted to Silicon. That's the truth, isn't it? How many people do you think have shifted to Apple Silicon? Maybe half, but there's plenty of Intel machines out there. So hopefully, whenever we get it, whenever we get some update from the Final Cut Pro team on Final Cut, we'll see what's going on. I hope that there's a big update in store for us. Version 11. That would make some kind of sense if that's what's happening. In other words, if they just suppose, this is just a supposition. Suppose Apple came out with Final Cut Pro 11 and they say, look, this is brand new version built from the ground up. This is our framework for the next 10 or 12 years. And we're not going to develop any more Final Cut Pro 10, because we consider that old technology at this point. Here's a brand new version built from the ground up with foundations and all that, the way they did with 10. And this is called Final Cut 11, Final Cut Pro 11. Maybe they'll rename it. Who the heck knows? That would kind of make sense why there hasn't been updates for Final Cut Pro 10 that many. There have been some, yes, there have been some, but the pace is very, very slow, as everybody knows. A lot of the editors are getting frustrated with the lack of updates for Final Cut Pro. So we have to just wait and see. Or start using Resolve, or start using LumaFusion. LumaFusion is a very sophisticated NLE on the iPad and the iPhone. I've been using it for the iPhone to post short clips. Rather than film them on my iPhone, get them to my MacBook Pro, edit them in Final Cut Pro. Now I'm just short clips. I'm just taking it right from the phone, loading them in LumaFusion because they're right there, doing some quick edits, export the new version, and upload that for my short clips. That's my workflow is this year. But anyway, has anybody else? Because I'm not really monitoring the news. I'm not really monitoring what's going on with the news for NAB because I'm kind of busy, interviewing people and stuff. I've seen a few things. The Ceremonic mics, I'm interested in those. It seems like they're a more professional version than the Rode Wireless Go-Tos and stuff. They have more professional features, but I don't know, the form factor. We'll have to see how that works because I think they plug into the iPhone with Lightning port, and the iPhone's supposed to change next year to USB. So I don't know if you can use Lightning or USB-C. I'm not sure, but they have the receiver plugs directly into the phone, and they use a different frequency spectrum than both the DJI and the Rode Wireless Go-Tos. They have a professional spectrum, and you can switch frequencies and stuff. And it's supposed to take a line level from board mix as well as just a regular microphone. So we'll see. That looks pretty interesting. Other than that, Avid's here, Premiere's here. Of course, Resolve, Blackmagic, gigantic area. I'll stop in there again today and see what's going on. Okay, that's interesting. So that's what I thought. Eric says, Resolve Auto Caption Generator looks great, but it's not a full text-based editor, but I bet you that's coming. That seems to be the way to go. Once you get the caption generator, the text, transcription, the next step is to be able to select the text and it'll select the corresponding video, or you select the corresponding video and it selects the text from the transcript. That seems to be the way it's going. Now, I talked to Philip Hodgetts yesterday at the Media Motion Ball, and he said this was expected. He expected this to be happening. It was not a surprise that Adobe came out with that, because Lumberjack Systems, of course, has been doing that since 2018 for 4 or 5 years now. So they've been doing that as well. So, a little bit tired, lots of walking, as you can imagine, in NAB. Lots of walking. Like I said, I'm going to be putting up these videos. I'm going to stay here in the hotel room and put up these videos before I head over to the convention center for today. And then, yeah, I'll go over there a little bit later this afternoon. I've got a couple more interviews I want to do. I want to see if I can get a hold of Roger and do an interview with him before he heads back. And Roger of Coremelt. And we'll see what else is going on. I'm having a good time as usual. Thanks for all the supporters, people that are watching. I appreciate it. And we'll see what else is happening. You probably are more aware of the news than I am at this point, because I'm not really watching the news. I'm not watching the NAB news, with headlines and all the product announcements and stuff. So, yeah. Everybody, Resolve seems to be a big deal, especially for Final Cut Pro editors. It's at least they have the free version. So you can try the free version. It doesn't cost anything. See if it suits your needs. But, we need to hear some more from Apple. We need to hear where the future of Final Cut is. This radio silence that they like to incorporate is just complete nonsense. It doesn't serve their customers, us editors. It doesn't serve us at all. Whatever's going on, we should be in on, let us know what's going on. If there's a new version coming out, just tell us there's a new version coming out. If whatever, people have asked if they're abandoning Final Cut Pro, I would be very surprised if that was the case. I don't think so. I don't think that's happening. But I think the only way they would abandon version 10 was version 11 was coming out. And the other thing is, who the heck knows? Version 11, we'll see. 10.7, something. Apple should be more forthcoming, like they have been in the past. That's the thing. We've seen Apple be more forthcoming. We've seen beta versions. Last March, we saw a beta version at the Creative Summit when 10.4.4 was released. No, not when it was released. It was previewed at the Creative Summit in October, November, and then it came out in December. So that was another preview of a beta of Final Cut Pro. We had the Apple response to the open letter last year. Well, they haven't really followed through. I know they have the meeting. They've had a few meetings with the Hollywood editors, but they haven't followed through with the rest. They have the training. Yes, we knew about that in it before. So, alrighty. I think I'm going to head out of here and get the rest of these videos edited, and then I'll either come back on later tonight or tomorrow morning before I head out on the air to the airport. And we'll post some more videos, some more interview clips, whatever else I find interesting. I have hours of video that I've taped so far, but I'm not going to put them all up while I'm at NAB. Just some of them. The interviews, 3 interviews I did yesterday. Once again, the sponsors: Audio Design Desk, Coremelt, Digital Anarchy, and LumaFusion. Those are the ones that sponsored my trip here to NAB, and I certainly appreciate. Please support all those companies. Like I said, LumaFusion has a sale on right now for LumaFusion. It's $19, just a little less than $20. It's like 30% off for 3-4 days, and they have the new multicam app out today as well, and I think that's also $20. That's a $20 add-on, but it's a one-time fee. There's not a subscription, going forward, and I like that. You buy it if you want it. You don't have to buy it if you don't want it. Yep. Alrighty. I think that's just about it for this morning. I'm going to get back to editing, and I'm going to put out 3 videos shortly: LumaFusion, Audio Design Desk, and Digital Anarchy. Jacob says he's going to see Sony today. I'll probably stop over there. Let me see what this says. Can Final Cut Pro 11 maybe be a hybrid, so M1, M2 powered and functioning on iPad, Mac OS is the one and the same solution? Mac OS and iOS and the iPad OS are different. They're still different operating systems, and there's things that don't work across platforms. For example, I bring this up all the time. What about all the plugins? I have 1,500 plugins for Final Cut Pro. They don't work on iOS. They don't work on iOS. So hybrid, will there be a version of Final Cut on the iPad? Perhaps, yeah. It makes sense that that'll happen at some point, but it won't be, I can't see it being the same version as the one that runs on the desktop. It'll be a lighter version or something. I don't think it'll be feature parity. All the features on the desktop version are coming to the iPad. At least not yet. At some point perhaps. But I like editing on my MacBook Pro. Now, when I'm here at the hotel room, it's much more restrictive than I am at home. At home, I have a big 34-inch monitor. I have, 2 other monitors. I have my laptop monitor, and then I have another monitor to the side, and then my big 34-inch screen. There's plenty of real estate. Here, I just have the 15-inch MacBook Pro screen, so everything's more compact and challenging. Plus, I have a mouse at home, and I have trackpads and other devices. So we'll see. What's been happening with Final Cut and the lack of updates, are they working on 11? And they're going to release 11, brand new version, built from the ground up with modern foundations, et cetera, like we heard 10 years ago? Don't know, but I guess that's certainly a possibility. And that would somewhat make sense as to why the development has slowed down on version 10 for the last few years. Well, more than that. 10.5 and 10.6 are both feature challenged, let's say. Just like we've had 2 feature updates in 18 months. So when 10.6 came out, they had some features that were added. And then 3-4 months later, they came out with 10.6.2 in March. So if you add those months up, plus it's been over a year since then, it's like 18, in the last 18 months, we've had 2 features added. So that seems, I don't know if that satisfies you. It doesn't satisfy me. It seems like it's way, way, way too slow. The pace of development has accelerated across the board with other NLEs, and they have great big announcements, and Final Cut is just like, oh, well, maybe something's coming. That's what I hope. I have too many years in Final Cut at this point. I'm not going to be switching over entirely, but I do use, like I said, LumaFusion, and I do use Resolve sometimes. So we'll see how that plays out. The less Final Cut takes care of their base with appropriate updates and things, and communication. That's the most frustrating part. Communicate with your users. Apple, Final Cut Pro team, communicate with your users. That's the main thing. Let us know what's going on. Give us some confidence that an update is coming or you're working on something. Just the radio silence just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. It's not good for your customers. We're here at NAB, and all these other NLEs are updating, and they get new features, text-based editing in Premiere, some kind of text-based editing, and not editing, but Resolve auto caption making with transcripts. And that's a beta. That's 18.5, I believe it is. That's the beta version. So that'll probably come out non-beta in the fall of next year. That's usually what it takes, about 6 months for them to get the non-beta. But it could happen sooner. It absolutely could happen sooner. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here and get back to some editing, so stay tuned to the channel. I'll have the full interviews with Digital Anarchy, LumaFusion, and Audio Design Desk up shortly, and I'm going to try to locate Roger Bolton from Coremelt and do another interview with him today, and I'll have that up right after that. All right, thanks for tuning in as usual. I will talk to you later. Bye.